if you get to have Congress in your class for a couple of semesters, what are some of the things that you would emphasize?
I mean, I think the federal budget takes place within this complex system of policies and programs, both at the federal level and the state level and the local levels. And so when we think about the federal budget, it really comes down to how are we going to decrease costs and how are we going to increase revenues? And both of those things need to happen. And so I don't know that it just comes down to this creation of the budget. I think there's this larger policy landscape that we need to think about when we think about reducing costs and increasing revenues. One of the things I think about in terms of decreasing costs is creating efficiencies. And we talk about that a lot in my classes. Well, how do these programs run? They tend to be pretty, a lot of administrative stuff happens. How can we streamline those processes? And how can we create processes that are going to cost less? And then in terms of increasing revenues, certainly how do we create, I think when we had our forum on campus, we had seen this kind of chart that showed kind of the driver of revenue is the federal income tax, and how do we think about ways in which we increase those tax revenues. So I think thinking about the policies that can feed into those revenue increases and creating efficiencies and decreasing costs is a big piece of this puzzle, I believe.